If you're planning to school in Canada, this should be your priority. I'm speaking for people who plan on coming to school and hopefully getting a permanent resident after school. One thing you have to understand though is schooling in Canada does not guarantee that you will definitely be able to stay or get your permanent residence. It's very normal for people to come to school in Canada and not be able to secure a permanent residency. So they come, and after their postgraduate work permit expires, they are not able to renew it and they just have to leave or find a different route to be able to stay. Unless you are coming for a PhD or a master's program, which increases your chances of getting a PR. But not everybody qualifies for a master's or PhD. So if that is not your case, your priority should be to apply for a 2-year program. 2 years because after 2 years of schooling in Canada or more years, you get a 3-year postgraduate work permit. And with this 3-year work permit, mostly is long enough for you to gain the experience needed and qualify for either express entry, federal, or a provincial nominee program. And even in those instances, it depends on which province you want to apply for. But in most cases, if you are applying for a 1-year program, you only get 1 year postgraduate work permit. And that 1 year is not long enough for you to gain all the experience and skills needed to even qualify for a provincial nominee program. I'm not saying there's no hope if you are coming for a 1-year program, but for most people who are not able to secure a permanent residency after school, they happen to be people who came for a 1-year program. But if you do a 2-year program and get the 3 years, your chances increase and your chances are much better than the person who did just a 1-year program. That's all I'm saying. But I also do acknowledge not everybody can afford to school for 2 years in Canada. So after school, your options are either to go for a federal express entry, as I earlier mentioned, or to look into a provincial nominee. And even that provincial nominee depends on which program you did and which province better suits you. So you have to look at your program you did and which province is looking for someone who did such a program. So normally I recommend to people that if you are coming to school, apply for a course in health. Even if you do a 1-year PSW course, you have a better chance than someone who came for some other program, just because it's health and PSWs are much needed in Canada. So either health or a STEM program, and I hear some provinces also really favor teachers. Yes. And IT falls under STEM. So yeah. So before you apply for a program, don't just focus on applying for a program that will get you into Canada. No. Do your research. Know which programs, which courses are much needed here. The few that I know are what I've already mentioned. Health will always be the top priority, number 1. Anything STEM related is great. Teaching for some provinces are also very good. And skills trades. And I even hear they are even much cheaper in some schools. Tuition fee and everything is cheaper if it's skilled. But not a lot of people come to Canada for those programs anyways. But then that's also an option. So if you are planning to come to school in Canada, look into all of that and decide the program you are coming to do very carefully. Because I've talked to a lot of people, some in my DM telling me the programs they are coming to do, and I'm like, who gave you this advice? Who even recommended this program to you in the first place? Just because it's easier to get into that program doesn't mean you should apply for it in the first place. So please, don't just look into coming. Research into the program and your chances of being able to stay after school, your chances of getting a good job with that program. And that can really go a long way to decide whether you're able to stay and get your permanent residency or not. Have a nice day, guys.